The massive space station called Harmony Point floated quietly between two star systems. It was built as a meeting place for different alien races to talk and trade without fighting. The station had white walls that glowed softly and long corridors that curved like a gentle spiral. Ships from many worlds docked at its ports every day. Princess Zara of the Velkan Empire stood at a large window in the diplomatic hall. She wore the traditional blue and silver robes of her people. Her skin had a pale purple tint, and her eyes were bright gold like most Velkans. She was tall and strong, as all Velkan women were trained to be from childhood. Zara felt bored. This was her 15th diplomatic meeting this year. The talks were always the same. Different alien races would argue about trade routes and mining rights. Her mother, Queen Nira, said these meetings were important for keeping peace between the worlds. But Zara thought most of the discussions were just about who could get more money or power. "Princess, the Earth delegation has arrived," said Commander Rex, her personal guard. He was a large Velkan warrior with scars on his arms from many battles. Zara turned from the window. "Humans," she said quietly. She had heard about humans but never met one. Her teachers said humans were weak compared to other species. They had no natural armor like the Throg people. They could not breathe poison gas like the Zephyrians. They did not have the incredible strength of the stone giants. Yet somehow, humans had built a space-traveling civilization in just a few hundred years. The meeting hall was huge, with a round table in the center. Representatives from 12 different alien species sat around it. Each group looked very different. The Throg delegates wore thick metal suits. The crystalline beings sparkled like living jewels. The shadow folk seemed to shift and move like smoke. The human delegation was small. Only 3 people. They wore simple gray uniforms with no decorations. Zara studied them carefully. They looked so ordinary. No claws, no natural weapons, no thick skin. Just soft-looking creatures with brown and pink skin. The lead human diplomat was a middle-aged woman named Dr. Chen. She spoke calmly about trade agreements and shared research projects. Zara found herself paying attention more than usual. The human woman talked about helping other species instead of just getting benefits for Earth. But Zara's attention was caught by someone else. A human man sat quietly at the back of the room, not at the main table. He wore a different uniform, one that showed he was an engineer. He had dark hair and was writing notes in a small book. When other delegates spoke, he listened carefully. Sometimes he would nod or frown slightly. "Who is that human?" Zara whispered to Commander Rex. Rex looked where she pointed. "Just a maintenance worker, Princess. Humans always bring technical staff to their meetings. His name is Sam according to our records." During a break in the talks, Zara decided to walk around the station. She often did this during boring meetings. As she moved through the corridors, she heard a strange noise. It was a low humming sound that seemed wrong somehow. She followed the sound to a maintenance area. The human engineer Sam was there, kneeling beside a large machine. He had tools spread around him and was looking at a display screen with numbers and graphs. "Is something broken?" Zara asked. Sam looked up, surprised. When he saw her royal robes, he quickly stood up. "Oh. Princess Zara, right? I'm sorry, I didn't know you were here." "You did not bow," Zara noticed. Most aliens bowed when they met her. Sam paused. "Should I? I mean, I respect your position, but I'm not from your empire. We humans don't really bow to foreign royalty unless it's a formal ceremony." This was interesting. "What are you doing here?" "Checking the life support systems," Sam said, turning back to his work. "I noticed some unusual readings during the meeting. The air recycling system is working harder than it should be. Is that dangerous?" "Maybe. Probably not, but I like to be careful." Sam pointed to the display. "See these numbers? They show how much oxygen the system is producing versus how much it should produce. We're running about 15% below normal efficiency. Zara moved closer to look at the screen. Can you fix it? I think so. The main problem seems to be in the filtration units on level 7. Some of the biofilters might need cleaning or replacement. Sam gathered his tools. It's not an emergency, but I should take care of it before it gets worse. I will come with you, Zara said suddenly. Sam looked surprised. Are you sure? It's just maintenance work. Pretty boring stuff for a princess. I am bored with the diplomatic meeting, Zara admitted. And I have never seen how a space station works. They took a lift down to level 7. The corridors here were narrower and the walls were lined with pipes and cables. Sam led the way to a large room filled with machinery. The air here smelled strange, like metal and chemicals. This is where the station cleans and recycles the air for everyone, Sam explained. He opened a panel on one of the machines. The biofilters use living organisms to break down waste gases and produce fresh oxygen. It's actually pretty amazing technology. As Sam worked, he explained what he was doing. Zara found herself fascinated. On her home world, such technical work was done by lower-class workers. Royalty never learned about it. But Sam talked about the machines like they were interesting puzzles to solve. Why did you become an engineer? Zara asked. Sam was carefully removing a large cylindrical filter. I like figuring out how things work. And I like building things that help people. Back home, I worked on systems that brought clean water to farming colonies. Before that, I helped design air recyclers for mining stations. That does not sound very exciting. Sam laughed. Maybe not to some people. But when you're on a space station and the air recycler breaks down, it becomes very exciting very quickly. They worked together for almost an hour. Sam would explain what needed to be done, and Zara would hand him tools or hold components in place. She found that her Vulcan strength was actually helpful for moving heavy parts. You're good at this, Sam said as Zara held a filtration unit steady while he reconnected power cables. Very steady hands. Vulcan warriors train for precision, Zara replied. But this is more interesting than combat practice. Really? I would think being a warrior princess would be pretty exciting. Zara considered this. Fighting is important for protecting people. But after you win a battle, what then? You must build something better, or the fighting never ends. Sam stopped working and looked at her. That's very wise. Before Zara could reply, an alarm started ringing throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the corridors. A voice came over the communication system, emergency in Section C. All personnel evacuate to safe areas immediately. Sam quickly closed the panel he had been working on. That's the diplomatic section. We need to get back there. They ran toward the lifts, but when Sam pressed the call button, nothing happened. He tried again, then checked a nearby display panel. The lifts are down, he said, his face serious. Something's wrong with the main power grid. The alarm kept ringing. Through the communication system, they heard Commander Rex's voice, Princess Zara, report to the evacuation area immediately. We have a major system failure. I must go to the diplomatic hall, Zara said. No, Sam said firmly. If there's a major system failure, that area might be dangerous. The evacuation zones are designed to be the safest places on the station. But my people are there. The other delegates are there. Sam was quiet for a moment, thinking. Then he said, wait here. Let me check something. He went to a wall panel and opened it, revealing a complex display of lights and switches. His fingers moved quickly over the controls. The main power coupling in Section C has failed, he said. That's what's causing the emergency. But it's also affecting the life support systems throughout the station. Can it be fixed? Yes, but someone needs to get to the central power distribution center. That's in Section B, between here and the diplomatic area. Then we go there. It's dangerous. If the power coupling completely fails, the whole section could lose life support. Zara looked at Sam steadily. You said people need help. Sam met her eyes. He seemed to be making a difficult decision. Finally, he nodded. Okay. But we do this my way. I know the station's systems better than you do. They began moving through the corridors toward Section B. The emergency lights cast strange shadows, and the alarm made it hard to think clearly. Sam carried a bag of tools and frequently stopped to check wall displays. The power loss is getting worse, he said after checking one panel. We have maybe 20 minutes before the life support system starts shutting down. As they moved deeper into the station, they began to encounter other people who were lost or confused. A group of crystalline beings was huddled in a corridor, their normally bright bodies flickering weakly. Sam immediately went to help them. The emergency lighting is too dim for your people, he said to their leader. You need more light to stay healthy. Sam opened a nearby maintenance panel and rerouted power from non-essential systems to increase the lighting in that corridor. The crystalline beings immediately became brighter and stronger. Thank you, Human Sam, their leader said in a voice like tinkling bells. We will remember this kindness. They continued on and found 2 Throg delegates who were having trouble breathing. Their environmental suits had malfunctioned when the power failed. I can't fix the suits, Sam told them, but I can get you to a maintenance bay with emergency atmosphere processors. Sam led the group to a nearby room and activated backup systems that provided the thick, methane-rich atmosphere the Throg needed. The 2 delegates were very grateful. Your human friend shows great wisdom, one of them said to Zara in their rumbling voice. Each time they stopped to help someone, Zara watched Sam work. He never hesitated to help, even though it delayed their mission. He seemed to understand the needs of different alien species even though he had probably never worked with most of them before. Finally, they reached the central power distribution center. It was a huge room filled with massive machines that hummed and sparked with electricity. In the center was a large control console with dozens of screens and control panels. There, Sam said, pointing to a section where sparks were flying and smoke was rising. The main coupling has overloaded. I need to replace it and reroute power through the backup systems. What can I do? This is going to be dangerous. The power levels here can kill someone instantly. I need you to watch these displays and tell me if any of the readings go into the red zones. Sam put on protective gloves and opened a panel near the sparking machinery. Inside, Zara could see thick cables carrying enormous amounts of electricity. Sam, she said, if you make a mistake, you could die. If I don't try, a lot of people will definitely die, Sam replied. The life support systems are already failing. We have maybe 10 minutes. Sam began working. He moved carefully but quickly, disconnecting damaged components and installing new ones from his tool bag. Zara watched the displays as he had asked, calling out readings when the numbers changed. Power flow at 60%, she reported. Good. I'm rerouting through backup line 3. Warning lights on panel 7. Expected. I'm bypassing the damaged section. The work was incredibly complex. Sam had to understand not just the human technology, but also the systems that had been added by other alien races. The station was a combination of different engineering approaches, and Sam seemed to understand all of them. Power flow at 80%, Zara called out. Almost there, Sam said. Sweat was running down his face from the heat and stress. Just need to reconnect the primary feed. As Sam reached for the final connection, there was a bright flash and a loud crack. Sparks flew everywhere, and Sam was thrown backward. He hit the floor hard and didn't move. Sam! Zara ran to him. He was unconscious but breathing. His hands were burned from the electrical shock. Zara looked at the control panel. The displays showed that power was restored to most of the station, but several systems were still offline. The life support was working, but not at full capacity. She had been watching Sam work for the past hour. She understood basically what he had been doing. The final connection was still not made, and people throughout the station were still in danger. Zara put on Sam's protective gloves. They were too big for her hands, but they would have to work. She approached the electrical panel carefully, remembering everything Sam had done. The final connection was simple in concept but required precise timing. Zara had to connect two power cables while simultaneously activating a backup switch. If she made a mistake, the feedback could destroy the entire power grid. She took a deep breath and made the connections exactly as Sam had been attempting. There was another flash, but smaller this time. The displays all turned green. Full power was restored to the station. The alarms stopped ringing. The emergency was over. Zara knelt beside Sam, who was starting to wake up. "Sam. Are you all right?" Sam opened his eyes and looked around in confusion. "Did we fix it?" "Yes. The station is safe." Sam tried to sit up, wincing from his injuries. "How?" "I was knocked out. I finished the connection." "You taught me how." Sam stared at her in amazement. "You completed a high-voltage power coupling repair by yourself. You showed me what to do. And my people are good at learning quickly." Before Sam could reply, they heard footsteps. Commander Rex appeared with several other Velkin guards and human security officers. "Princess," Rex said with relief. "We have been searching everywhere for you. When the emergency began and you disappeared, Queen Nira was very worried." "I was helping," Zara said simply. Dr. Chen, the human diplomat, knelt beside Sam. "Are you injured badly?" "I'll be fine," Sam said, though his hands were clearly hurt. "We got the power restored. That's what matters." "You got the power restored," Rex said to Zara with surprise. "You, Princess." "Sam did most of the work," Zara said. "I just helped." Over the next few hours, as Sam received medical treatment and the station returned to normal operations, the full story of what had happened spread throughout Harmony Point. Sam and Zara had not only fixed the main power system, but had also helped rescue dozens of trapped aliens throughout the station. The diplomatic meetings resumed, but now there was a different atmosphere. Representatives from various species specifically thanked the human delegation for Sam's heroic actions. The crystalline beings offered to share their advanced crystal technology with Earth. The Throg delegation proposed a new trade agreement that heavily favored human colonies. Zara found herself thinking about Sam constantly. She had never met anyone who would risk their life so readily for complete strangers. Velkin culture valued honor and courage in battle, but Sam had shown a different kind of courage. He fought against problems, not people. He built solutions instead of just destroying enemies. When the meetings finally ended 3 days later, Zara sought out Sam before the human delegation departed. She found him in the same maintenance area where they had first worked together. "How are your hands?" she asked. Sam held up his bandaged hands. "Much better. The doctors say they'll heal completely in a few weeks." "I wanted to thank you," Zara said. "For everything you did during the emergency. You helped too. Actually, you did the hardest part at the end." They stood quietly for a moment. Finally, Zara said, "Sam, why did you help all those people? The crystalline beings, the Throg delegates, everyone we met. They were not your responsibility." Sam considered the question seriously. "I guess because they needed help, and I could provide it. When someone's in trouble, you help them if you can. That's just what you do. That is not what most species do. Most people help their own kind first. Maybe. But we're all just people trying to live our lives and take care of our families. The fact that we come from different worlds doesn't seem that important when someone can't breathe. Zara realized that this was what made Sam and his people special. They saw connections where others saw differences. They built bridges where others built walls. I would like to learn more about human engineering, she said. Sam smiled. I'd be happy to teach you. Though I suspect you'd be a very quick student. As the human delegation prepared to leave Harmony Point, Zara watched their ship undock and disappear into hyperspace. She felt something she had never experienced before, a sense that her life was about to change in ways she could not yet imagine. The diplomatic mission was over, but for Princess Zara of the Velkan Empire, something much more important was just beginning. The royal transport ship flew through space toward the Velkan homeworld. Princess Zara sat in her private cabin, staring out at the stars. 3 weeks had passed since the events at Harmony Point, but she still thought about Sam every day. She remembered how he had worked to save everyone on the station, how he had treated her like an equal person instead of distant royalty. Commander Rex entered the cabin. Princess, we will arrive at Velkara in 2 hours. Queen Nira has requested that you report to the throne room immediately upon landing. Thank you, Rex, Zara said without turning from the window. Rex hesitated. Princess, may I speak freely? Of course. Your mother has been asking many questions about what happened at Harmony Point. She seems particularly interested in the human engineer who helped during the emergency. Zara finally looked at her guard. What kind of questions? About his background, his family, his position in human society. She has been in contact with Earth's diplomatic office. This surprised Zara. Why would she do that? I do not know, Princess. But Queen Nira seemed concerned when she learned you spent several hours alone with him during the crisis. Zara turned back to the window. She had not told anyone about her growing feelings for Sam. But perhaps her mother had noticed something in her official reports about the incident. The Velkan homeworld appeared ahead of them. Velkara was a beautiful planet with purple oceans and silver mountains. Cities gleamed like jewels across the surface, connected by gleaming transport tubes. It was a world built for warriors, with strong fortifications and grand monuments to military victories. The royal palace sat on top of Mount Korath, the highest peak on the continent. It was carved from black stone and decorated with statues of ancient Velkan heroes. Guard towers watched every approach, and energy shields protected the entire complex. As their ship landed in the royal spaceport, Zara felt nervous in a way she had never experienced before. She had always been honest with her mother about everything. But this was different. Her feelings for Sam were something she did not fully understand herself. Queen Nira waited in the throne room. She was taller than Zara, with the same golden eyes but silver hair that marked her advanced age and wisdom. She wore the traditional black and gold robes of the ruling monarch, and the crown of stars rested on her head. My daughter, Queen Nira said warmly as Zara entered. Welcome home. Zara knelt before the throne, as custom required. Mother, I have returned safely from the diplomatic mission. Rise, Zara. Tell me about Harmony Point. Your official reports mention an emergency, but I want to hear the full story from you personally. Zara stood and told her mother about the power failure, about working with Sam to restore the station systems, and about helping the trapped aliens throughout the crisis. She tried to keep her report factual and professional. Queen Nira listened carefully. When Zara finished, the queen was quiet for a long moment. This human engineer, Queen Nira finally said. Sam. You spent considerable time with him. Yes, mother. He taught me about the station systems. His knowledge was essential for solving the crisis. And what did you think of him personally? Zara hesitated. He was very skilled. And brave. He risked his life to save people he had never met before. Rex tells me you seemed different when you returned to the ship. More thoughtful. More distant. Zara realized that her feelings were more obvious than she had hoped. The emergency was a significant experience. It changed my perspective on some things. Queen Nera stood and walked to a large window that overlooked the capital city. Zara, I have ruled this empire for 37 years. I have seen many young people experience strong emotions after dramatic events. Tell me honestly, what are you feeling about this human? Zara took a deep breath. There was no point in trying to hide her feelings any longer. I think I am falling in love with him, she said quietly. Queen Nera closed her eyes and was silent for several seconds. When she opened them, her expression was troubled. Oh, my daughter, she said softly. This is what I feared. Why do you fear it, mother? Queen Nera returned to her throne. Sit with me, Zara. We must talk seriously about this. Zara took a chair near the throne. She had rarely seen her mother look so concerned. Zara, you are not just any young woman, Queen Nera began. You are the heir to the Velkan Empire. Your choice of a life partner affects not just your personal happiness, but the future of our people. I understand that, mother. But Sam is not just any human. You should have seen how he worked to save everyone on the station. How he treated people with respect regardless of their species or status. I have been researching this Sam, Queen Nera said. Sam Davis, age 31, born on Earth's agricultural colony of New Eden. Parents were farmers. He studied engineering at a technical school, not a prestigious university. He works on mining stations and farming colonies, not in important government or corporate positions. Zara felt defensive. His background does not matter. What matters is who he is as a person. But it does matter, daughter. A princess of Velkara cannot simply follow her heart without considering the consequences. Our people expect strength in their leaders. They expect royal marriages that bring honor and advantage to the empire. And you think Sam would not bring honor? Queen Nera stood and began pacing. Zara, humans are not like us. They are physically weak. They have no natural armor or weapons. Their lifespans are shorter than ours. Their culture values cooperation over strength, emotion over logic. Those are not weaknesses, mother. I saw Sam's strength during the crisis. It was different from our kind of strength, but it was real. Different how? Zara thought carefully about how to explain what she had observed. Velkan strength is about defeating enemies and conquering challenges. Sam's strength was about building solutions and bringing people together. When he helped the crystalline beings and the Throg delegates, he made them stronger instead of making himself stronger by defeating them. Queen Nera frowned. That sounds like softness, not strength. Is it soft to risk your life for strangers? Is it soft to work for 18 hours straight to save people who can give you nothing in return? Is it soft to treat a princess like a regular person instead of trying to gain favor through flattery? You admire him, Queen Nera observed. Yes, I do. Very much. Queen Nera sat down again, looking tired. Zara, I love you more than anything in this universe. I want you to be happy. But I also have responsibilities to our people. The Velkan Empire has been strong for 2,000 years because we have always chosen strength over sentiment. What if strength and sentiment are not opposites? What if the strongest choice is to follow what makes you become a better person? You think this human makes you better? Zara considered this question seriously. Yes, I do. When I was working with Sam, I felt like I was doing something truly important for the first time in my life. Not just following diplomatic protocols or practicing combat techniques, but actually solving problems that mattered. He showed me that there are ways to be strong that I had never considered. Queen Nera was quiet for several minutes. Finally, she said, "Daughter, I cannot simply accept this based on your emotions. If you truly believe this human is worthy of a Velkan princess, you must prove it to me." How? I will arrange meetings with suitable Velkan nobles. Young warriors who have distinguished themselves in service to the empire. Brilliant scientists who have advanced our technology. Accomplished diplomats who have expanded our influence. If, after meeting these exceptional men of our own people, you still believe this human farmer engineer is the best choice for your future, then I will consider your request more seriously. Zara felt frustrated. Mother, you are missing the point. This is not about comparing accomplishments or social status. This is about finding someone who shares your values and makes you want to be the best version of yourself. Values are shaped by culture, Zara. How can you be certain that a human's values are compatible with Vulcan traditions? Because I saw those values in action. Sam did not help people during the emergency because he was ordered to or because it would benefit him. He helped because he believed it was right. That is a value any culture should respect. Queen Nira sighed. Very well. But you will still meet with the Vulcan candidates I select. And in the meantime, I want you to learn more about human culture and society. If you are going to make such an important decision, it should be based on complete information, not just romantic feelings. Over the following weeks, Queen Nira arranged a series of meetings for Zara. The first was with Commander Vex, a young military officer who had led successful campaigns against space pirates. He was handsome, brave, and came from one of the oldest noble families on Velcara. Zara met him in the palace gardens. He wore his dress uniform with medals and ribbons showing his achievements. Princess Zara, Vex said, bowing formally. It is an honor to meet you. Please, sit, Zara said, gesturing to a bench near a fountain. They talked for an hour. Vex told her about his military victories, his family's long service to the Empire, and his plans for advancing his career. He was intelligent and well-spoken, but Zara found herself bored. Everything he said was about gaining more power, more recognition, more status. What do you do when you are not on military duty? Zara asked. I study advanced combat techniques and strategic planning. A warrior must always be improving his skills. Do you have any interests outside of military service? Vex looked puzzled. Why would I? Military service is the highest calling for a Vulcan noble. Everything else is secondary. Zara thought about Sam, who talked about engineering as a way to help people live better lives, not as a way to advance his own position. The second meeting was with Dr. Karn, a scientist who had developed new energy weapons for the Vulcan military. He was brilliant and accomplished, and his work had earned him great respect. Dr. Karn was more interesting to talk with than Commander Vex. He explained complex scientific concepts in ways that Zara could understand. But again, Zara noticed that his focus was entirely on projects that would make the Vulcan military more powerful. Have you ever worked on technology to help ordinary citizens? Zara asked. Occasionally, Dr. Karn said. But military applications are more important. They protect our people and maintain our dominance over potential enemies. What about technology that could help other species? Projects that would benefit everyone? Dr. Karn looked confused. Why would we want to make other species stronger? That would only create more competition for resources and territory. Zara remembered how Sam had immediately helped the aliens they encountered during the emergency, without any thought of whether it might somehow weaken humanity's position. The third meeting was with Lord Torrance, a young diplomat who had negotiated several successful trade agreements for the Empire. He was charming, sophisticated, and knowledgeable about galactic politics. Princess, Lord Torrance said, I have heard about your experiences at Harmony Point. Very impressive that you were able to assist with the technical repairs. Thank you. It was a learning experience. Indeed. Though I hope you will not make a habit of such dangerous activities. A princess should not risk herself for the sake of other species. Why not? Because your life is more valuable than theirs. You represent the future of the Vulcan Empire. Your safety must come before the welfare of aliens. Zara felt a surge of irritation. The aliens at Harmony Point were not enemies. They were beings in need of help. Perhaps. But helping others should never come at the expense of helping your own people first. That is the primary rule of successful diplomacy. Again, Zara thought about Sam, who had helped everyone equally without calculating which actions would benefit humans the most. After each meeting, Queen Nira asked for Zara's thoughts. Zara tried to be fair and respectful about the Vulcan candidates, but she could not hide her lack of enthusiasm. They are all accomplished and honorable, Zara told her mother after the third meeting. But they think only about advancing Vulcan interests. They do not seem to care about building something larger than themselves. That is loyalty to their people, Queen Nira pointed out. But Sam showed loyalty to life itself, not just to his own species. Is that not a higher form of loyalty? Queen Nira was beginning to understand that these meetings were not changing Zara's mind. If anything, they were making her feelings for Sam stronger by contrast. 2 months after returning from Harmony Point, Zara was in her private study when Commander Rex brought her a message. Princess, this communication just arrived from the Earth Diplomatic Office. It concerns the human Sam Davis. Zara's heart began beating faster. What about him? Rex handed her a data tablet. Perhaps you should read it yourself. The message was from Dr. Chen, the human diplomat who had been at Harmony Point. It was addressed to Queen Nira, but marked for Zara's attention as well. Your Majesty, the message began, I am writing to inform you of recent events concerning Sam Davis, the engineer who assisted your daughter during the emergency at Harmony Point. Mr. Davis has declined a very lucrative position with the Terran Engineering Corporation, which would have provided him with significant wealth and prestige. Instead, he has chosen to return to the outer colonies where his technical skills are desperately needed. Zara continued reading. 3 weeks ago, Mr. Davis's transport ship was attacked by pirates while traveling to the mining colony of Kepler Station. The pirates disabled the ship's engines and demanded that the passengers surrender all their possessions. Mr. Davis, who was traveling with a group of families relocating to the colony, managed to convince the pirate captain to release the families unharmed. He accomplished this not through violence or threats, but by showing the pirates recordings of the children on board and explaining how the families were simply trying to build better lives for themselves. The message continued, most remarkably, Mr. Davis's actions led to half of the pirate crew abandoning their criminal activities. They were apparently moved by his words about the value of honest work and the satisfaction of building rather than destroying. The pirate captain was so impressed that he provided safe escort for the transport ship to its destination. Mr. Davis is now working on Kepler Station, helping to design improved life support systems for the harsh conditions there. Zara set down the tablet with shaking hands. Even when facing dangerous criminals, Sam had found a way to solve the problem without violence. He had turned enemies into allies through compassion and wisdom. Commander Rex was watching her carefully. Princess, Queen Nira has requested your presence in the throne room. She wishes to discuss this message with you. Zara found her mother standing at the great window, looking out at the capital city. Queen Nira turned when Zara entered. You have read the report about Sam Davis, Queen Nira said. Yes, mother. What do you think of his actions with the pirates? Zara chose her words carefully. I think he showed the same kind of strength he showed at Harmony Point. The strength to find solutions that help everyone instead of just defeating enemies. Queen Nira nodded slowly. I have been thinking about what you said before. About strength and sentiment not being opposites. And this human of yours did something that even our greatest warriors would find difficult. He faced armed criminals without weapons of his own, and not only survived but convinced them to change their ways. Queen Nira paused. That requires a kind of courage that I am beginning to understand. Zara felt a spark of hope. Does this mean you will consider my feelings about him more seriously? I am beginning to think, Queen Nira said carefully, that perhaps there are forms of strength that we Vulcans have overlooked. This Sam seems to possess something that could be valuable to our empire. What do you mean? Queen Nira turned from the window to face her daughter directly. Zara, the Vulcan Empire has always grown through conquest and force. We are powerful because we are feared. But fear only lasts as long as our military strength. What if there was a way to build alliances based on respect and mutual benefit instead of domination? You think Sam could teach us that? I think this human has demonstrated abilities that complement our traditional strengths. And I think, Queen Nira said with a slight smile, that my daughter has inherited enough wisdom to recognize something valuable when she sees it. Zara felt her heart soar with hope and excitement. For the first time since returning home, she believed that her mother might actually support her feelings for Sam. But she also knew that Queen Nira would want to meet Sam personally before making any final decisions. And that meeting would be the ultimate test of whether a human engineer and a Velkan queen could find common ground. 6 months had passed since the events at Harmony Point. Princess Zara stood in her private chambers, looking at a message that had arrived that morning. Sam was coming to Velkara. Queen Nira had officially invited him to visit the royal court as a guest of honor, recognizing his service during the space station emergency. Zara felt nervous and excited at the same time. She had been exchanging messages with Sam over the past months, learning more about his work and his thoughts about life. Each conversation had only strengthened her feelings for him. But now he would meet her mother face to face, and Queen Nira would make her final judgment about whether a human could be worthy of a Velkan princess. Commander Rex entered the chamber. Princess, the human transport ship has been detected at the edge of our system. It will arrive at the Royal Spaceport in 3 hours. Thank you, Rex. Is everything prepared for his arrival? Yes, Princess. Queen Nira has arranged quarters in the guest wing of the palace. The welcome ceremony will be small and informal, as the human requested. Zara smiled at this. Sam had specifically asked that his visit not include grand displays or elaborate protocols. He said he would be more comfortable with simple arrangements. This was very different from how most visiting dignitaries behaved, but it was exactly what Zara expected from Sam. Rex, Zara said, what do you think of this situation? Her guard considered the question carefully. Princess, I have served your family for 15 years. I have seen many potential suitors meet with Queen Nira. This is the first time I have seen you truly excited about someone. Does that concern you? It interests me. You have always been practical about duty and responsibility. If you believe this human is worth such strong feelings, then perhaps he possesses qualities that are not immediately obvious. 3 hours later, Zara waited in the royal spaceport as Sam's transport ship landed. The ship was small and simple, built for practical travel rather than impressive appearance. As the door opened, Sam stepped out wearing a clean but modest gray uniform. He carried a single travel bag and what appeared to be a large case containing technical equipment. Sam, Zara said, walking forward to greet him. Princess Zara, Sam said with a warm smile. Or should I say Your Highness now that we're on your home world? Zara is fine, she said. I am happy you decided to come. I'm honored by the invitation. Though I have to admit, I'm pretty nervous about meeting your mother. She is looking forward to meeting you as well. Sam looked around at the royal spaceport with obvious amazement. The walls were carved with intricate designs showing Velkan history, and guards in ceremonial armor stood at attention. This is incredible, Sam said. The architecture, the craftsmanship, everything. Your people are remarkable builders. Zara led Sam through the palace corridors toward his quarters. Along the way, she pointed out various features of the ancient building. Sam asked detailed questions about the construction techniques and engineering principles involved. The support beams in this section are fascinating, Sam said, examining the ceiling. How do they handle seismic stress with this design? The entire palace is built on a foundation of interlocking stone blocks, Zara explained. It flexes with ground movement instead of breaking. Brilliant. That's similar to some techniques we use for buildings on unstable moons, but this is much more elegant. As they talked, Zara noticed that several palace guards and servants stopped to listen. Sam's genuine appreciation for Velkan engineering seemed to impress them. They reached Sam's quarters, which were spacious and comfortable but not overly luxurious. Sam set down his bag and looked around appreciatively. "This is perfect," he said. "Much nicer than the mining station dormitories I'm used to." "Sam, may I ask what is in that case you brought?" Sam's eyes lit up with excitement. "Actually, that's something I was hoping to share with you and Queen Nira. It's a project I've been working on that I think could benefit both our peoples." "What kind of project?" "I'll show you tomorrow, if that's all right. I'd like to present it properly." That evening, there was a formal dinner in the palace's great hall. Queen Nira, Princess Zara, and several high-ranking Velkan officials gathered to welcome Sam. The queen wore her ceremonial robes and crown, while Zara was dressed in royal blue and silver. Sam entered the hall wearing his best uniform, which was still quite simple compared to the elegant clothing of the Velkans. But he carried himself with quiet confidence and dignity. "Your Majesty," Sam said, bowing respectfully to Queen Nira. "I am honored by your invitation to visit Velkara." "Mr. Davis," Queen Nira replied formally. "We welcome you to our world. Please, join us." The dinner conversation was polite but careful. Queen Nira asked Sam about his background, his work, and his experiences with different alien species. Sam answered honestly and thoughtfully, without trying to exaggerate his accomplishments. "I understand you recently dealt with pirates in the outer colonies," Queen Nira said. "Yes, Your Majesty. It was a difficult situation, but we were fortunate that no one was seriously hurt. My reports indicate that you convinced half of the pirate crew to abandon their criminal activities. How did you accomplish this?" Sam was quiet for a moment. "I think most people want to live meaningful lives, even if they've made mistakes in the past. The pirates were mostly young people who had never had opportunities for honest work. When I showed them what the colonist families were trying to build, some of them realized they wanted to be part of creating something positive instead of just taking from others." "You believe people can change their fundamental nature?" "I believe people can grow and learn, yes. I think most species have the capacity for both destruction and creation. The choice often depends on what opportunities they're given." General Korex, one of Queen Nira's military advisors, spoke up. "That is a very idealistic view, human. In our experience, enemies remain enemies unless they are thoroughly defeated." "With respect, General," Sam said politely, "I think there's a difference between defeating enemies and helping people choose better paths. Both approaches have their place, but building trust tends to create more lasting results than building fear. And if your approach fails? If your enemies take advantage of your mercy? Then you defend yourself as necessary. But I've found that most conflicts can be avoided if you understand what people really need and help them find ways to meet those needs without harming others." Queen Nira listened to this exchange with great interest. After dinner, she asked to speak privately with Sam in her study. The Queen's study was lined with books and star charts, and the walls displayed weapons and trophies from centuries of Velkan military campaigns. Sam examined these with obvious respect. "Your people have a remarkable history of achievement," Sam said. "Yes," Queen Nira agreed. "Built through strength and discipline. Tell me, Mr. Davis, what do you think of our military traditions?" "I think they've obviously been effective for your society. The Velkan Empire is respected throughout the galaxy for its honor and power. But..." Sam hesitated. "May I speak freely, Your Majesty?" "Please do. I think your people have mastered one kind of strength, but there might be other kinds that could complement what you've already achieved." "What do you mean?" "Well, your military power protects what you have and allows you to take what you need. But what if there was a way to create more of what everyone needs? To build prosperity instead of just redistributing it?" Queen Nira sat forward with interest. "Continue." "From what I've learned about galactic politics, most conflicts happen because different species are competing for the same limited resources. Colony worlds, mining rights, energy sources. But what if we could find ways to create new resources instead of just fighting over existing ones? You think this is possible? I know it is, Sam said with confidence. That's actually what I wanted to show you tomorrow. The next morning, Sam set up his presentation in one of the palace's conference rooms. Queen Nira, Princess Zara, and several scientific advisors gathered to see what he had brought. Sam opened his case and pulled out detailed technical drawings, computer displays, and a small working model of some kind of machine. Your Majesty, what I'm about to show you is a new approach to terraforming that could create habitable worlds much faster and more efficiently than current methods. Sam activated the display, showing a three-dimensional image of a barren planet. Current terraforming takes centuries and requires massive resources. But I've been working on a system that uses specially designed organisms to transform planetary atmospheres in just a few decades. The presentation was incredibly detailed. Sam explained how the new organisms could break down toxic gases, produce breathable air, and create fertile soil. He showed calculations proving that the process would be much more cost-effective than existing methods. The best part, Sam said, is that this technology could be shared freely with any species that needs new colony worlds. Instead of fighting over habitable planets, we could create them. Dr. Valash, the Queen's chief science advisor, studied the technical data carefully. This is remarkable work. These calculations appear to be correct. Where did you develop these ideas? I've been working on this for 3 years, in my spare time while stationed on various mining colonies. I've tested smaller versions of the process on barren moons, and the results have been very promising. Why have you not sold this technology to your own government? General Orcs asked suspiciously. It would be worth enormous amounts of money. Sam looked surprised by the question. Because it's more important that it be used to help people than that I get rich from it. If Earth kept this technology secret, it would just create more competition and conflict. But if we share it freely, everyone benefits. Queen Nira had been silent during the presentation, but now she stood and walked around the room, thinking deeply. Mr. Davis, she finally said, you are proposing to give away something that could make you one of the wealthiest individuals in the galaxy. Yes, Your Majesty. Why? Sam thought about how to explain his reasoning. Your Majesty, I've spent my career working on mining stations and colony worlds. I've seen how hard life can be when people don't have enough resources. Families struggling to survive, children growing up in dangerous conditions, communities falling apart because there aren't enough opportunities. He gestured to the terraforming data. This technology could create millions of new opportunities. New worlds where people could build better lives for their families. Why would I keep that limited to just one species when it could help everyone? You trust other species not to use these new worlds to threaten humanity? I trust that people who have enough resources to live well are less likely to attack their neighbors than people who are desperate and struggling. Queen Nira looked at the technical displays again. And you would share this technology with the Velkan Empire? I would be honored to work with Velkan scientists to develop and improve the process. Your people's engineering skills could probably make it even more effective. Dr. Valash spoke up excitedly. Your Majesty, if this technology works as described, it could revolutionize galactic colonization. We could establish new Velkan worlds without having to conquer them from other species. The strategic implications are remarkable, General Korex admitted reluctantly. Instead of using our military to take territory, we could use it to protect our terraforming operations while they create new territory. Queen Nira returned to her seat and studied Sam carefully. Mr. Davis, I have one more question for you. Of course, Your Majesty. My daughter tells me that she has developed strong feelings for you. Are these feelings mutual? Sam looked at Zara, then back at the Queen. Yes, Your Majesty. I care for Princess Zara very much. And what are your intentions regarding her? I hope to continue building a relationship with her, if she wishes and if you give your approval. I know that she has responsibilities to your people, and I would never ask her to abandon those responsibilities. What if I told you that marrying a Velkan princess would require you to live on Velkara and take on official duties within our government? Then I would be honored to serve your people alongside her. Even though it would mean giving up your human citizenship and your life on Earth. Sam was quiet for several seconds. Your Majesty, home isn't a planet. Home is where the people you care about are, and where you can do meaningful work. If Zara is here, and if there are opportunities to help people here, then this could be my home. Queen Nira exchanged looks with her advisors, then stood up. Mr. Davis, Princess Zara, I would like to speak with both of you privately. After the others left, Queen Nira walked to the window overlooking the capital city. Zara, 6 months ago when you told me about your feelings for this human, I was concerned that you were making an emotional decision without considering the consequences. And now? Zara asked. Now I believe that you recognized something important that I initially missed. Queen Nira turned to face them both. Mr. Davis, in the past 3 days, I have observed how you interact with people. You treat servants and guards with the same respect you show to royalty. You ask thoughtful questions about our culture and history. You show genuine appreciation for our achievements while offering your own contributions without arrogance. Thank you, Your Majesty. More importantly, you have demonstrated a kind of strength that our empire has been lacking. We Vulcans are excellent at protecting what we have and taking what we need. But we have not been as skilled at creating new opportunities or building bridges with other species. Queen Nira moved to her desk and picked up an official document. I have decided to offer you formal citizenship in the Vulcan Empire, with the position of Chief Engineering Advisor. Your terraforming project will become an official Vulcan initiative, though you may continue to share the technology with other species as you see fit. Sam looked stunned. Your Majesty, I am deeply honored. Furthermore, Queen Nira continued, I give my formal approval for your courtship of Princess Zara. If you both choose to marry in the future, you will have my full support. Zara felt tears of joy in her eyes. Mother, thank you. But, Queen Nira said with a slight smile, I have one condition. What condition? Sam asked. I want you to work with our diplomatic corps to establish a new kind of alliance with Earth and other species. Not just trade agreements or military pacts, but partnerships focused on mutual development and shared prosperity. I think that's a wonderful idea, Your Majesty. Good. Because I suspect that this human approach of yours, this building instead of just taking, could be the foundation for a much stronger and more stable galactic civilization. Over the following weeks, Sam settled into life at the Vulcan court. He worked with Dr. Valash and other scientists to refine the terraforming technology. He met with diplomatic advisors to discuss new approaches to interspecies relations. And he spent time with Zara, exploring the capital city and learning about Vulcan culture. The terraforming project progressed rapidly. Vulcan resources and expertise combined with Sam's innovative designs created improvements that neither species could have achieved alone. Plans were developed for the first joint human-Vulcan colony world, using the new technology to transform a barren planet into a garden world that could support both species. More importantly, word of the project spread to other alien civilizations. The crystalline beings offered to contribute their advanced energy systems to power the terraforming equipment. The Throg delegation proposed using their expertise in atmospheric chemistry to improve the process. Even former enemies began expressing interest in cooperative development projects. 6 months after Sam's arrival on Velcara, Queen Nira made a formal announcement to the Galactic Council. The Vulcan Empire was establishing a new department of cooperative development, with the goal of helping all species create prosperity instead of fighting over limited resources. The announcement surprised many galactic leaders, who were accustomed to thinking of the Vulcans as a purely military power. But the early results of the terraforming project provided convincing evidence that cooperation could be more effective than competition. On the first anniversary of Sam's arrival, he and Zara stood together on the palace balcony, watching the sunset over the capital city. In the distance, construction crews were building new facilities for the expanding terraforming program. Ships from dozens of different worlds filled the spaceport, bringing scientists and engineers who wanted to participate in the project. Are you happy with your decision to stay here? Zara asked. Sam put his arm around her shoulders. I've never been happier. This feels like the most important work I've ever done. Even though it means giving up your old life. I'm not giving up anything important. I'm gaining everything that matters. Sam looked at the bustling activity in the city below. Look what we're building together. Your people's strength and organization, combined with human creativity and cooperation. We're creating something neither of our species could have achieved alone. Mother says you have changed how our people think about strength. Your mother changed how I think about leadership. Vulcans understand how to make decisions and follow through on them. Humans are good at dreaming up possibilities, but we're not always great at turning those dreams into reality. As the stars appeared in the darkening sky, Zara thought about how much her life had changed since that emergency at Harmony Point. She had found love, but more than that, she had found a new understanding of what it meant to be strong, and what it meant to serve her people. Sam, she said quietly, do you think other species will accept this new approach? Some will, some won't. But the ones who do will benefit enormously. And eventually, I think the benefits will be so obvious that even the skeptical ones will want to participate. You really believe we can change how the galaxy works? Sam smiled and looked up at the stars. I believe that when good people work together, they can build almost anything. And your people are very good people, Zara. Just like you. In the months that followed, the Vulcan Human Cooperative Development Model became the foundation for a new kind of galactic civilization. One built on shared prosperity instead of zero-sum competition. One where strength meant the ability to create and protect, rather than just the ability to destroy and dominate. And at the center of it all was a simple truth that Sam had understood from the beginning: the greatest strength comes not from defeating others, but from helping them become the best versions of themselves. The galaxy was becoming a much better place, one new world at a time.